All right, guys, welcome to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about how we can actually scale an AI agency, what the mechanisms and pillars are composed of in order for you to literally start selling upfront packages of $5,000 to $15,000 as a complete beginner within 7 days. Okay. I'd like to challenge that and I'd like to make things very simple to digest. So I came up with a little bit of a graph chart over here so you guys can actually follow me and really digest the material bit by bit to understand exactly why businesses in 2025 moving forward are going to pay top dollar in order to install these AI growth infrastructures. They're simply engineered to produce more sales. Okay, businesses pay money so you can help them produce more appointments, more conversions, more cash, and they'll continue to pay you if you can do it really well. Okay. If you don't know a little bit about me, my name is Amr Buller. I'm the CEO and founder of Moving Commas and another portfolio company that I'm a co-founder of called Novelty, which is a Web3 based ticketing AI company. And I've made a little over $2 million online selling services just like this. And I want to help you guys understand exactly how you can do exactly what I did in the last 5 years. So to quit my job and to literally fund my dreams, buy the real estate I wanted to buy and the dream cars that I bought as well too. So you can literally do the same or just simply make a ton of money and still stay at home. It's up to you. But nonetheless, let's get into the training so we can talk a little bit more in regards to exactly how you can do this so you can replicate what we're doing. Just within the last 12 hours, we just literally collected over, I'd say a little over shy over $10,000 cash collected, two separate payments for one business, and both partners were able to actually, pay the build and deployment fee up front as well. So that's pretty cool. We'll talk a little bit more about that and how that happened, but let's break it down to the skin and bones. So, how to start selling an AI offer within 1 week and charge $5,000 to $15,000 up front. Okay, so you're probably thinking, okay, great. I know it's a AI growth infrastructure. I know there's some sort of marketing or advertising engines or some sort of service that's proprietary to how we're basically selling and we're basically positioning ourselves in front of within these businesses. But I think the most important thing is who are we targeting, why, and what makes the most sense for you guys, depending on what stage you're at within your career, whether you're just starting out, whether you're a little bit more of a novice, you had some skin in the game, you've dealt with, some businesses, or let's say that you've been doing this for a couple of years now, just like myself, and you're sick and tired of dealing with, selling commoditized agency services, and now you want to pivot towards selling towards, high level online business owners as well too. So we'll get into it. So what I have over here is essentially three tiers. We have the home service panel, we have professional services, and then we have the online business panel. So the reason why I highly recommend that if you're a beginner just starting off and you are literally looking to help out local businesses, I would highly recommend that's where you start first because literally everyone that, within their vicinity right now has access to, people that are in HVAC, plumbing, painting, solar, landscaping, electrical, maybe some people do flooring or whatever it may be. In general, there are a lot of people that provide home services that are generally local. And it is very easy for you to reach out to them and actually exchange a conversation. So therefore, I feel like if you are just getting into this right now, that you want to pick a niche that you have a decent understanding about what they do. You can't just randomly pick something, which I know a lot of people do that, but I generally like to be intentional. So if you're literally trying to understand what business owner to get in front of, I would highly recommend that you do a little bit of research. Think about exactly the business you want to get in front of and understand whether or not you even understand their business model and what type of service they provide. And you can kind of build something around that because you understand that industry specifically. So home services for beginners are absolutely great. Why? Because there are not a lot of intricacies. Home services generally need more appointments, and more consults or estimates in general. So again, you can start there. Very, very easy barrier to entry, and they literally show up at your house. So in order for you to have a conversation, should not be a big deal. But sales will be another topic for another video. Let's get into professional services. This is where I cleaned a little bit over $1 million with my own personal agency, which we helped serve real estate professionals specifically, but going into exactly what the bandwidth of professional services that you can specifically target as a beginner agency owner, or someone that's getting back into refining their offer, is, real estate professionals, mortgage professionals, legal, attorneys, law firms, accounting companies, financial institutions, insurance companies as well too. These are all within your bracket of professional services. And I would like to say, if you're just starting out, you can still target these people if you have a general understanding, a good understanding of these industries. Let me tell you, if you do not have any idea of how a real estate professional buys, sells, or double ends deals, or just understand what that industry is about, it's going to be very hard for you to convince that person to actually bite onto your offer because of your limited understanding of exactly what they do on a day-to-day basis. So the reason why I have this on a second phase is because I generally tell people that, hey, if you're going to be targeting professional services, there are people that have a lot more grit in business. They're used to selling and being sold. So if you don't know what you're talking about in regards to their industry and you don't have a general understanding of their pain points, it is kind of running into a brick wall. And it's not something that I would generally start off with. Getting back to how I was able to clean a little over $1 million with my real estate advertising company, was because I generally had a good comprehensive understanding of real estate. I didn't have an advanced understanding when I started, but I did have a pretty good, idea, just because of my general awareness towards the industry. And, we were able to simply help them acquire more appointments via our call center, which I'll get into a little bit. I won't go into too deep now, but we have the third stage over here as well, which is online business owners. If you are a beginner, completely stay away from online business owners. I'll tell you why. I'm all for being confident, positive, but you have absolutely no chance trying to sell someone on how to do good in their online business and help them drive more appointments, help them, decrease their calls, their booking call rates, or let's say helping them basically mechanize their advertising channels by better creatives, better insights, and different infrastructures, or maybe even their sales infrastructures. Like, you literally have no idea. These type of people are so well graded to understand whether or not you as a beginner can actually help them. Why? Because they've actually done this. If they're an agency owner and they run a successful online business, chances are they've already paid for services from other coaches and other agencies that help them basically create better departments and pillars in their business. So if you are literally starting out and you are trying to target, sorry about that, if you're trying to target literally online business owners, you're gonna run into not a brick wall, but you're basically gonna be in quicksand. You're gonna spend a lot of money on acquiring clients, and you're simply gonna go ahead and be in a position where you'll never get them to bite the bait because you're not as good as you think you are, and they're probably better at selling the service that you are because they do the thing that you're doing seamlessly in their day to day because they've been doing it for a very long time. So again, if you're starting out, do not target online business owners. If you are seasoned and if you understand online businesses, you understand marketing channels, you know how to run paid traffic, you know when you've built sales teams and you've built and crafted offers and funnels, you have a general understanding, and you're ready to dive into helping mid-level or entry-level agency owners, or maybe even higher level agency owners, and you're literally pivoting your offer, I would start right here and skip out all the other jazz. depending on whether or not you either love serving other professional services. But that is who you can sell to. Now, what are we selling, right? As you know, if you're watching my content, we are not selling commoditized garbage here. We are not selling singular services that basically only complement one department. What I like to do is something called an AI growth infrastructure. I like to deploy these mechanisms, systems, and flows within a business that allows every single department to thrive. And if you watch my previous video, which again is in our channel right here, literally, you can see what is an uncommoditized service and what is a commoditized service and why we sell growth infrastructures leveraging AI. I won't go too deep into it. I will, but if you're here now, you probably have a general understanding. So we'll talk about what is this specific growth infrastructure. Okay. What is it? What is it composed of? Why are we selling a specific growth infrastructures? Again, there's not just one. There is probably multiple types of growth infrastructures leveraging AI that don't just complement sales, probably complement content or complement different departments for different things. I like to focus on one thing that business owners like to talk about is how to make more money, how to make more predictable money on a month to month, week by week basis, what drives that specific lever, and how do we create a system and an automation around it where we can predictably print cash on a weekly basis without having to play a game of guessing. I like to build businesses and offers around that. So let's talk about exactly what the build and deployable structure is. So me specifically, I was able to generate a lot of money up front while with helping realtors make more money. It's really simple getting in front of professionals and basically saying, hey, I can make you more money if I do X. And simply when you can drive the conversation that way, you're able to talk about which is the number one most important thing, which is how to print more cash. So what I realize that all service-based businesses require, whether it's home, professional, or online businesses in general, is more appointments on the calendar, predictably, very cheap, and having the means to actually convert that in print cash. How we do it is by these three core pillars, okay? We do AI leveraged advertising, okay? We'll talk a little bit more about what it is, how we do it, and break that down a bit more. This is simply, again, outside of your traditional advertising, process, which can take months, weeks to script, shoot, hire actors, and do the whole shebang for you to just figure out exactly whether or not creatives work or not. With AI leveraged advertising, you can basically produce, script, shoot, and pretty much deploy and test advertisements 10 times faster, 10 times more efficiently, and have more, I'd say 3 to 4x more of a higher click-through rate, higher cost per message, higher cost per booking, just because of how powerful AI is right now. When we're talking about, let's just say generative AI. So we use AI leverage advertising because it is beating regular paid traffic for businesses tenfold because it literally helps decrease time to produce, time to basically deploy, time to test and get insights as well too, so you can figure out exactly what your winning creatives are and what isn't. So that's what AI leverage advertising is. We're going to decompose it a little bit more, but let's skip on to the second department, which is the complete AI sales infrastructure, which is inbound and outbound automation with AI agents or callers. So why this is important and why this is the second pillar in the business is because once you generate traffic, you are now generating interest. You're generating conversations. You're generating leads, whatever you want to call it. Generally, when you do that, you need people to turn interest into conversations into an actual discovery call or a sales call. Okay. Long story short, why AI sales infrastructures that are completely automated inbound and outbound end to end is the future moving forward is because I spent tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on hiring, firing, churning, training talent that either worked and did not work. And that's also in the Philippines, or me hiring local Canadian and US based appointment setters and closers. Okay. So AI sales infrastructures will completely automate that. The moment the lead comes in, it turns into a booked and qualified appointment. Why? Because AI callers can literally handle inbound and outbound conversations at a level where regular appointment setters, SDRs, or BDRs cannot compete with. Okay. And if you want to see an example, go ahead and click on one of our videos or our trainings. You can literally see how these AI callers work. They're currently literally booking all of my real estate professionals every day, anywhere between 2 to 3 appointments. And they're calling around 300 to 400 leads per day. Whereas my call center, I had 14 VAs work for me at my actual call center for my previous prehistoric age agency that had a commoditized service. And I realized that I could scale the ads, I could not scale my AI sales infrastructure or my regular sales infrastructure. Sorry, in the people I hired in the Philippines were basically at the mercy of getting tired, not being comprehensive, or being confident enough to keep their KPI ramped up and keep their energy high enough on a day-to-day or even a week-by-week basis to keep alignment and symmetry with the performance. So bottom line, AI is taking over the call center industry. And right now we are literally finding the best use case to deploy these specific infrastructures into small businesses, because this is exactly how you're going to make millions of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on your appetite. Me, and the agency that we're running, and again, this offer that we're running right over here, we're anticipating to clean tens of millions of dollars, if not hundreds, with deploying these infrastructures into enterprise businesses starting today. And we're doing it for the last couple of weeks. So now that we talked about AI sales infrastructures, leveraging the traffic to the callers, so you can literally have an end-to-end process now, which is the third pillar, which is conversion. So I'm assuming that if you're a home service business or you're for professional services, that you still have human closers. And if these closers understand exactly how to turn appointments into cold cash, then you're going to have a complete turnkey system that is not just singular, but completely covers the entire process from beginning to end to cash collected, which can be automated, can be ramped up, and can be engineered in a manner that can scale a business from doing 50,000 a year to doing $50,000 to $100,000 a month, depending on the scalability. Okay. Now let's talk about exactly how this complements businesses. And we're going to decompose these three structures a little bit more so you can understand exactly what it means. With traditional advertising, creatives were very stagnant, static, and didn't really, gauge clients and customers, right? Or prospective customers. With the advertisements that we ran were still images and creatives that literally you deploy. And when you deployed them, they'd run pretty well for maybe like 15, 30 days. But what happens is CPLs will completely plummet. And that would put you in a position where you have to constantly fire out new creatives, which means that more ads will be deployed, tested, which mean more and more iterations, decreasing the time for the ads to learn, making your clients spend more money and have a very inconsistent, lead volume so people can call. So what the correction is now is that if you're not using AI leverage advertising, you're spending way too much time producing the creatives. You're using still images and static, memes that literally every business owner and everyone is tired of seeing. It does not work. So if you're not using AI leverage advertising and you're using an AI, avatar, I literally have it open over here. A lot of our clients are currently using arcads.ai. We have literally used this and produced over, I'd say 56 advertisements that are all winning advertisements. And literally like something that would take us around maybe 2 or 3 weeks to script, edit, hire an actor, and produce, upwards of, I'd say, close to a month to go from idea to production to master creative can take up to 30 days. It can do that much volume and shoot 20 to 30 ads in one day, maybe 2 hours, maybe an hour. Okay. All you need to do is make sure that you have your script and everything ready to go. Why is it better? Because again, you are decreasing time, you're increasing efficiency, you're having better content and more video and reels that actually work, and you can actually leverage ChatGPT to prompt and engineer your script. So you can now not just have one advertisement per, 1 week, but you can literally pump out a tremendous catalog of advertisements and winning, creatives that can literally help you top up, your general strategy, which is just the organic route, which worked in the past. But again, what worked yesterday is not going to work today. Therefore, we watch these type of content. You guys learn, innovate, and you guys can print some more money. So again, now getting to the automated calendar with hiring salespeople, specifically appointment setters. Because right now where we're at, today's March 24th, it is 9:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Timing in Toronto. And from my experience, what I've learned is that in the last 4 years of just hiring setters and closers, the biggest money burner, if that's the right word to use it, the biggest area where I found that my cash burned to the ground was when I hired somebody that I thought would produce, and I gave them my time, energy, resources, and leads, and nothing. So with having all of that experience ramped up, what I realize is now the appointment setting grid of running businesses have been completely automated. Like when I say automated, I mean completely automated, because now you have an AI agent that literally understands your business or your client's business holistically, understands objections, understands the structure, the script, the entire rebuttals, and is able to basically produce appointments at a level where SDRs cannot do. Let's face it, if you hired an SDR to book 100 appointments and you gave it 1,000 leads today, and then you also paired it up with an AI caller that is basically engineered and trained at the same mannerism, the AI, the actual human being is going to struggle to compete with that system or that language model specifically. Why? It doesn't get tired. It handles objections without getting emotional. It does not let up, and it makes sure that it shows up regardless of whether it feels tired, because it doesn't. It cannot catch the flu. It doesn't get sick. It doesn't get depressed. It doesn't basically call in late for work. It's the tires don't go flat on their tires. They show up anytime, all the time. They start doing phone calls. So if you're comparing on what these pillars can do and why they're different and how you're mechanizing this entire offer, your calendar is going to get completely automated. And what you're going to find is that humans will be stepping out from setting appointments, whereas they're only going to be right now. I can only speak on what's happening right now until we have closers, but we'll stay tuned for that in the near future. But right now, it is automating calendars, and your AI inbound and outbound infrastructure is basically your yellow pillar. And then basically now you're getting to the green column where we're just producing new revenue, because we're either staffing these businesses with sales reps, right? Some of these people might need closers. Why? Because they cannot handle all the appointments that are coming in. Maybe they're a small business, or maybe they're a company that needs more talent. So you might help staff them with more talent. You might even jump in and help them close more deals and make a better sales process out of what they're generally doing right now. But nonetheless, this is something that is broken down to a T so you can understand what a AI growth infrastructure that simply just promotes more revenue or new business actually does and what it's composed of. Okay. And I hope I'm doing a good job over here because I like to map things out for beginners, but I know a lot of my viewers are individuals that run successful businesses right now and they want to keep things, conversations graded. So let's talk about fulfillment because I remember when I started my agency, um, you know, 5 years ago, I could figure out how I would get clients, but I remember I would always be absolutely stumped at the fact of thinking about how the hell am I supposed to provide this outcome? I have no idea. I just graduated from Toronto Fire Academy. All I knew was how to put out fires and carry hose, and do some cool things on that level. I didn't know anything about marketing. I didn't know anything about running ads, let alone I didn't even know what sales was. So how the hell are you as a beginner supposed to fulfill on all of this? Okay. One thing I'd like to say is there's a saying, and I always get it wrong, is ready, aim, and shoot. Okay. But I like to reverse that. And if you're an entrepreneur, you'll probably know what it is. You need to shoot, and then you need to aim, and then you need to be ready. So what that means is that people often think that things will just be, you have to know everything in order for you to actually go into getting your client. But let me put it this way. You don't need to know how to fulfill or be good at fulfilling until you don't have a client. So how can you be obsessed with trying to understand service delivery until you don't even have that problem yet? Because your first problem is crafting an offer and pitching it to businesses so you can get interest, learn sales, exchange money, and then learn how to fulfill. I'm not saying just ignore it, but until you don't hit that threshold or barrier, you don't have to worry about it. But let's say that you've been busting um, you know, your naps to actually get a actual client, and now you have one or two paying clients that just gave you a lot of money to do this. How? Cool. Let's get into it. So when you are creating your actual, let's say the first pillar, which is your advertisement, mechanism, you can literally hire white label agencies and other fulfillment providers on Fiverr, Upwork, even onlinejobs.ph, or maybe even other white label marketing agencies that will literally run your campaign month by month for your client, anywhere between $300 to $500 per month. And let me tell you, if you're just starting out, I'd probably want to just do it myself, and you should do it yourself because, again, if you don't know how your clients are being fulfilled on, you'll never know how good of a service you're basically delegating, or you're sourcing from other agencies as well. So in the space and realm of marketing and advertising agencies, or specifically running a successful AI agency, you have to understand what it means to create, craft, and deploy these ads. So therefore, I feel like you should take the time to actually craft these ads. I will make a video on this, by the way, as well too. We're speaking holistically, but all it takes is good engineering on a hook, good value proposition, call to action. That's it. And probably some more pain points. But generally, you can either hire an agency to do it for you. You're charging thousands and thousands of dollars. Yes, you can give out 5% to make sure that your client is getting leads, is getting interest, because if you're not getting leads for your clients, you cannot provide them AI callers to call those leads. Okay? You have two main components. Second, how the hell do you deploy this AI caller systems or infrastructure? To be very honest with you, I am not a technical founder. I hire great talent, I scout talent, I find people that can literally do the service for me. So again, you can hire operational managers, people that have backgrounds in, operating, managing CRMs and basically deploying these AI bots. We literally do it for our clients. We also help out our, agency partners at our agency accelerator or our AI agency accelerator to help them fulfill on their first clients as well too. And we basically partner with them so they can start to understand the fulfillment ground. But again, very similar to your ad agency or your do-it-yourself process as well too. You can either outsource it, learn it yourself, or hire internally and teach someone to do it as well from the Philippines. Same thing goes for deploying the AI calling system. Again, it can be done in-house by a partner, or it can be done outsourced from someone from the Philippines. Again, document SOP the entire training, or you can literally get our help. We're literally helping beginners deploy their services by becoming white label partners. We call them white label ghost partnerships. So literally, you can stay at the front, fulfill your clients, take the rewards, repeat, get the referrals. Okay. Either or, I recommend when you're growing, it's not important to get so immersed into this because at the end of the day, these trainings that I'm creating is to help breed executives, online executives. Why? Because I like for you guys to think the way I do, which is making teams, delegating, making sure you're scaling, promoting business, not getting immersed into how to become the best advertiser in the world and go knee deep into learning that, because that's not how you're going to make 30, 40, 50, upwards of 100, maybe even $500,000 a month by focusing on how to get good at specific skills. Holistically, we want to make sure you guys understand everything openly and not have to kind of get too graded into this process, because I know that I constantly went down a rabbit hole trying to learn these things, and I did it myself, and I'm glad I did it myself because I made a lot of mistakes. I realized what was the right way to do it, what was the wrong way to do it. I got my feet and hands wet, and then when it came to hiring someone, I wasn't a noob. I wasn't a beginner. Like, I knew what was good. I knew generally if he knew more than me, instantly he's going to be able to drive better results. So I recommend that if you're just starting out, really digest all these variables. But again, there's really three main pillars and components to this entire infrastructure, and they're all engineered with AI. Okay. And at the AI Agency Accelerator, at Moving Commas, we literally provide you the best licensing models because we literally own our own software companies. We have direct partnerships with these executives and founders as we run our own software companies. So we have these licensing models that can be literally given to you guys. So you guys can literally skip all the trial and error of working with other companies that don't have any results or real background, and you can literally just use our resources and go from a barrier to entry that is literally this big to now just collapsing it and just getting right to sales and acquiring clients and building a great brand and agency around yourself. Okay, so I hope this was a little bit more informative. Again, we will be unpackaging this in so many ways. I'm just getting creative as to how I want to cook up and basically showcase. And this is basically a brain dump. But again, let's talk about how we're going to charge, because this is the most fun stuff. Again, if you're not into sales and you're just starting out, these numbers may look very, very intimidating. But let me tell you, this is the only way you should charge. And if you undercharge, you'll be miserable. You'll never scale, you'll churn talent, and you'll never get the right clients. Because what we are talking about today is not no cookie cutter agency services that you see when you're scrolling on Facebook or Instagram. We are not offering these commoditized, services that are just churn, stink like churn. We don't want to sell that stuff. And we want to make sure that we are charging a premium to not sell services, but to build real hard assets that are literally built in businesses. We literally just build them, deploy them, let it sit, and then we let it scale because it's a one-time build It stays there forever and it'll continue to do what it needs to do as long as it's being maintained. And that's why I like to charge three different ways. Okay. The first is called the standard build and deployment fee, which is anywhere between $15,000 and $30,000 upfront. You're probably thinking, how the hell do we justify this when you are basically giving someone a cash machine that's helping them produce 4 to 5x more business every month? They get to pay your system off 5 to maybe 10 times a year. Why the hell would they not pay you this one time upfront? Okay, that's why. Second, the hybrid model is pretty simple. It's anywhere between $8,000 to $15,000 upfront, but you have a monthly maintenance fee. We like to call it MRR in the agency and online space. That means that you get paid a handsome subscription to basically refine, engineer, and maintain the infrastructure that you built and deployed for the business. Number three is a partner model where you literally work with businesses that are probably not so cash intensive, but you're willing to make the bet and stake on them so you can get future revenue from them. So you charge a low retainer or a deployment fee of anywhere between maybe $5,000 or $10,000 upfront, but maybe a 5 to 15 or 20% rev share on new business. And this can be very, very lucrative if you get in front of the right businesses that you know are cash positive and do consistent revenue. And you know for a fact the moment you join with them, join forces, you start working with them, that they're going to crush it. So how do you know which ones to start with? Honestly speaking, I love the hybrid model. Why? Because it allows you to stay cash intensive on the front end, and then it also allows you to get this nice little monthly recurring revenue that keeps kind of pooling through every single month. So as long as you're making sure that you provide, the maintenance and you're engineering your results to a good standard. Sometimes build and deployment can be really good because you get these really great upfront payments, but sometimes, again, after 6 or 7 months, you've already serviced the client, and now, you're not getting any, rev share, or you're not getting that continuity as well. But you are now in a position where you literally got paid 20, 30 grand upfront, and that's it. They just want you to do the work, and that's it, right? The partner model is also fantastic, but again, it depends on the businesses you serve. I think partner models work really, really well for online businesses because, again, extremely cash intensive. You can charge a small fee up front, but you can charge a 15 or 20% maintenance fee on, let's say, a sales machine or sales mechanism that you basically deployed for an online business. And if you're helping them produce an additional $100,000, $200,000 a month, and you're doing a 15% rev share, you're basically now getting paid a paid in full every single month. But you basically staked yourself in a lot more malleable or leaner on the front end, so you can basically become almost like an equity player, right? But you're basically eating the profits on a month-to-month basis. So I thought this would be a really cool video. Why? Because, again, we get to cover a lot of things, and we get to basically check off a lot of questions that are unmarked. But again, this training is to help you guys understand where the online business realm is heading. I know there's so many things that are online right now that basically create shiny object syndrome, but this worked for me, and if you follow it, it will probably work for you as well too. I can't make any guarantees because there's nothing like overnight success. I'm 5 years into the game, and I'm still behind a laptop at 10:09 p.m. But what I will tell you is that I love what I do. I love helping brand new founders and entrepreneurs finally break into the space, quit their 9 to 5. And, we've literally helped out so many people do it. So again, what I'll do is I'll leave you guys with this training. I hope you enjoyed it. If you find that there's anything that you find that is something that you'd like for me to talk about or clarify, just comment in our in the comment section below with this YouTube training. And also, we have an actual free masterclass and training that you can literally click in our bio. It's a complete 1 hour training that literally breaks down everything to an exact T. And for a limited time only, we have our accelerator pricing model for new online agency owners that want to learn from me one-on-one exclusively. We have very limited seats. So if you actually want to go ahead and book an implementation call, you can literally go to the about or description of this video, or head to the about or description panel for my YouTube channel and get access to that link. And again, if you enjoyed this training, click the like button, subscribe, share, comment, and just do your thing. We hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, we'll see you on the next training.